I took an Uber and I was talking to the person who was driving it. And then he turned out to be the HR manager, operations manager of Tim Hortons.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. आज हमने फिर से अलीशा को इनवाइट करा है जो कि एक एचआर है एंड वील अंडरस्टैंड हर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ बीइंग एन एचआर इन कनाडा. क्या क्या सर्टिफिकेशंस करनी पड़ती है, सर्टिफिकेशन जरूरी भी है कि नहीं है, उनका पूरा एक्सपीरियंस फ्रॉम स्टार्ट टू एंड ऑफ हाउ टू बी एन एचआर इन कनाडा. सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. All right, Alisha, thanks a lot for coming again. I do have now a list of questions for you as an HR. Earlier we talked about you as a recruiter, but I think a lot of people who have done HR in the past, when they were in India or their home country, they would want to know how to approach this particular industry when you come to Canada. Now, what are the certifications that are required? Are certifications even worth it? What are the kind of experience that you have? So we'll talk all about that, but just first briefly tell us what your journey has been, what you did in India, and then how you landed yourself in a job that you are doing as an HR now.
So I actually did engineering. So I did my BTech in biotechnology, and everybody was like, "Oh, she'll join some MNC, or she'll go to Pune, Bangalore to just grow in her field, right?" Being an engineer, everybody has an expectation you will go into engineering. But while I was pursuing my BTech courses, we had management courses as well in each semester. So from there, I was more interested in knowing more about management. So what I did after I completed my BTech, I switched to MBA, and then from there, I was more interested in HR. So my main thing in MBA was HR and marketing. That was my main subject. So I completed my MBA. As soon as I finished, within 1 month, I came to Canada. So the first program I did here was my human resource management postgraduate certification. So since I already did my post graduation, so I couldn't take another MBA program here.
Right.
So I completed that, and then that program had a co-op option with it. So after I completed that program, I did like 4 months of internship with a recruitment company. And that was a really, really great experience for me, because that was the first time I've ever worked in any work culture. So it was really great. From there, I was like, this is what I want to do my whole life. I want to do recruitment because I loved it so much. So after I completed my co-op, I joined another course, which is strategic management. Like if you want to be a manager or in a team lead position, then how would you strategize all the operations and everything. So that was I was really curious about that course. So I took that, and while I was doing that course, I did some freelancing in HR. I got this project where a manufacturing company reached out to me, and they have to develop the whole HR structure, and they need help with hiring and all. So I helped them in creating the whole HR structure from the scratch. So that was another really interesting project for me in HR. And then when I finished my studies, I got a job as a recruiter, as a recruitment consultant with my previous company. I did recruitment in finance, accounting, sales, marketing, customer service. And then right now I'm doing recruitment for legal professionals, like hiring for lawyers, hiring for legal assistant, paralegals, law clerks.
Nice.
So that's what my journey has been. And it's really interesting for me.
First of all, tell us what's the scope of HR. If you have studied here, probably you have an advantage, but would you say that that advantage is big enough to topple over someone who has not had Canadian education and is just coming from India, was an HR for about 5-6 years, and then how do you approach the market? What's the scope?
So first of all, in HR, like I would say HR is a very broad term. So when you talk about HR has recruitment, HR has compensation, HR has organizational development, it has compensation benefits, it has occupational health and safety.
Training and development,
It's everything included. So my main focus was more into recruitment, so I can talk more about from recruitment point of view. So in recruitment, I would say yes, there was an advantage because I studied here as compared to someone coming from outside. It's not about experience. Yes, they have experience, but the thing is the laws and regulations are different in Canada as compared to in India. So there are some questions you cannot ask here to a candidate during a hiring process. There are some discriminatory questions. So if you're coming from India, you use the same practices you have been using in the Indian organization.
That's true.
And when you come here and ask the same question, obviously the candidate will sue you, and no one wants a lawsuit. Company does not want to take that risk, right?
Yeah.
So that is why they want someone who at least have education in HR from here, so they understand rules, they understand regulation.
And how do you get over that? Like, not everyone would have a plan of doing education from here. They're like in their 30s and they want to have a more settled life, and they can't get into education, finances, whatever may be the reason. So what do you think should be the approach? Are there any certifications that could help you get over the point that we just discussed?
Absolutely. There are certain certifications. So I recently completed my CHRP. It's called Certified Human Resource Professional. So CHRP certification, it's a very basic level. It has different levels.
Okay.
So there is CHRP, and then there is CHRL, which is Certified Human Resource Leader.
Okay.
So that is for someone who has been working in a leadership position, like an HR manager or a recruitment manager. And then comes CHRE, which is Certified Human Resource Executive. So these are like VPs or directors or high level professionals. So if you have completed these certification, it shows you have Canadian HR knowledge. That's the sole purpose of this. So how it works is you have to go through 9 courses in HR itself, and then validate your skill in those courses, and then you have to write 2 exams on it. So basically, if you're passing the exams, which means you are reading about it and you have knowledge on it. So that's really, like, some people say it's an asset, but I would say it's really helpful for you to set your foot in the door in the HR world.
And how much time does it take if you were to do the certification, at least the basic level?
For me, it was easy because I did my education from here.
Right.
So the course I took already had those 9 subjects that was needed for the certification. So for me, it took me around 9 months to complete the whole certification. Usually, it takes 1 year to 1.5 year for someone. So it's not like you have to take the certification and then you can apply for jobs. That's not the case. Even if you are continuing it, you can apply to jobs. You can write in your resume pursuing CHRP designation, so they know you have started to get that knowledge. And yes, certification is important in HR, but it's not like if you don't have Canadian experience or if you don't have education or certification, you can't get a job in India.
Right.
I have seen my colleagues, I have seen my friends who have like 5 years, 6 years, even like more junior or more senior HR people who came to Canada and then they applied to positions and then they got the job. So definitely that skill is transferable. And when I talked about कि यहाँ पे rules different है, यहाँ पे regulation different है, obviously you can learn that on the job as well.
Right.
So as long as you're putting in some effort, and as long as you're open to all opportunities, I think it's not that difficult to get into HR. And then you can start studying as well. Like there are some good books you can use, and you can study about recruitment in Canada. There's one by Nielsen and Company. There are different books. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of book you use. So as long as you are reading about it.
A lot of people ask, British Columbia सही है कि Toronto आए कि कहाँ पे जाएं? So in your view, does that matter? Like, do you think that Ontario genuinely has more jobs when it comes to HR?
It depends on your industry. So, for example, if you are in production and manufacturing, right, then Ontario may not be right for you. Maybe you want to go to Alberta. for example, if right now I'm hiring for legal professionals and I'm doing hiring for both Vancouver and Toronto, I can see there's a more scope of legal professionals in Vancouver as compared to in Toronto. So if you are into legal space, you'll go to Vancouver or BC. But when you're talking about like marketing, when you're talking about something like in HR or finance, accounting, Toronto is the hub for that. There are so many companies. There are like IT companies, most of the banks, most of the big corporations, insurance company, everyone is here in Toronto.
Right.
Even in Montreal as well. Like as I don't know, as long as you enjoy that culture, most of the jobs there are bilingual, so you need to have understanding of French. So as long as you are comfortable in that kind of environment, so I don't think province matters that much. But yes, when it comes to particular industry, then yes, it does, because you should know where those jobs are located. So Alberta is more about like oil and gas and all that stuff.
Got it.
So if you want to go into that field, you go to Alberta. But yeah, you'll find every job in Toronto, every job in Ontario.
Got it. Hey, Alisha, this is something that you would know better, but I think that recruitment has two parts to it. When one is working on the agency side, where you are a part of a recruitment agency hiring for other bigger companies, and the other way is being an HR inside a bigger company who is working with the recruitment agency. So, like, what kind of skills do you need depending on where you want to be?
So I would say these two different kind of recruitment requires two different kind of personality. So for example, being an agency recruiter means you have to thrive in a fast paced environment, which means you are getting jobs every day. You have to fill those jobs in a particular deadline because there are so many other agencies who are competing with you.
Right.
And some people get anxiety, some people get pressurized in that kind of environment. With in house recruiting, it's very strategic as compared to agency recruiting. So, in agency, you won't think that much. You just qualify people and then you send them further.
Right.
In house, you are responsible for everything. It's very slow, it's very strategic. You have to deal with hiring managers directly, get their requirements, present candidates to them, interview candidates, and then just go back to zero and start more from them. And then in-house, you are hiring for, so a company has different divisions. So they have operations, they have HR, they have marketing. So you're hiring for all of those people.
Right.
So basically, you're not specialized in one thing. But in agency, there's specific specialization. So there's an IT recruiter who only does IT recruitment.
Yeah.
And then right now I'm a legal recruiter, so I'll only do legal recruitment. Person has to understand what kind of environment they want to work in.
Right.
Can they survive in a specific kind of environment? So HR may, if you talk about an entry level HR specialist, entry level HR coordinator, HR admin, entry level recruiter, it starts from 40 to 45,000. I'm talking about Ontario. It varies from province to province because each province have their minimum wage.
Right.
They have different standards of living as well. So everything is compared.
Right.
In Ontario itself, 40 to 45 is the basic. And then it goes from there. If you have like 3, 4, 5 years of experience, going into like a senior recruitment consultant or like a mid team lead position or a mid managerial level, then it can go up to like 60, 65. But it also depends on the structure. So we agency recruiters, we get commission as well. So sometimes it's a mix of like base and commission. But if you're only getting like basic salary, then I would say 40 to 45 is the basic, and then 60 for mid. And then if you go from there, then you can reach up to like 70, 80. And then if you add in your commission, so each placement you have a commission out of it as well.
Okay.
So you can easily make more depending on how many candidates you place. Try to have some focus on what you want to do when you come here. So don't be clueless and don't settle that, oh, if I don't get job in HR, then I'll be doing some other jobs. Just don't settle for it. It is little bit challenging to get a job, but it's not impossible at all.
Right.
Like for instance, I knew I had no working experience. I only had like Canadian education. So for me, what I did, I started searching and applying to jobs like 6 months in advance. So 6 months before I knew I was about to graduate. So the result of which was the day I graduated is the day I received my job offer. So it's not like wait for the right thing. Like I didn't wait till my graduation. I didn't wait to complete my studies. I was more proactive in my approach and I started searching for a job 6 months in advance. So if you look at it, it took me 6 months to find my basic entry level job. So you need to be persistent. You need to know what you want. Do not apply to all the jobs online. Just be specific about it, and just don't shy away from networking or connecting with anyone. That's the basic thing. I'm not saying just sit on LinkedIn and send messages. It's good to connect, but even if like when you're in Canada, you are taking an Uber or maybe you're in an elevator, if you see someone, acknowledge them, talk to them. That small talk can take you places. Like I have seen, I was once, I can give you an example. Like I took an Uber and I was talking to the person who was driving it. And then he turned out to be the HR manager, operations manager of Tim Hortons. So we had a discussion and then I was like, oh, I work in recruitment. And then he was like, he was having such a hard time finding people for Tim Horton franchise in different locations. So I was like, okay, you take my card, give me a call. I can really help you with that. So there I instantly built a connection and I was able to get that account for my company. And then we were hiring for them in no time.
Oh, wow.
So that's a really powerful message for everyone, that be proactive and then connect and network with everyone you can.
What's the worst that could happen, right?
I know. What's the worst?
Nothing, right? Nothing, right? So it's fine. Nothing would happen if you do nothing, right? So I think that's an excellent message, and that's a very good example that you gave. Thanks a lot, Alisha, for doing this. I'm sure that there are so many HR people who are, in your field would really find this helpful. And जब वो यहाँ पे आएंगे, at least they are not in the blind. At least they don't have misconceptions कि अरे certification करनी है. At least they know कि certification अगर करनी है तो at least you can apply and then apply to jobs. It's not the end of the world if you don't have that. I hope you like this video. अगर वीडियो पसंद आए तो please like करके जाना, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to it. हम आगे भी ऐसी वीडियोस लाते रहेंगे और प्रोफेशंस लाते रहेंगे. So मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए bye bye.